morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning will begin on a very important topic, homelessness. The number of homeless people in Milwaukee has fluctuated slightly over the years, but lately there has been a lot of attention placed on what's known as Tent City. It's an encampment that's located under the I-794 freeway west of 6th Street between Clybourne and St. Paul Avenues. A couple of weeks ago, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation issued an order to vacate that area by October 31st. Here to fill us in on the situation is James Mathy. He serves as the housing administrator for the Milwaukee County Housing Division. How are you, James?
Very good. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being here and being willing to help clarify everything that's going on with this situation. There are a lot of people who really do care about what's going on. So as I mentioned, in regards to what's being referred to as Tent City, it is ordered to vacate by October 31st. Fill us in.
Sure. So we've been working a long time on this issue. So there is an order to vacate from DOT for the 31st. But we've been in conversations with them for a very long time. So we have outreach workers that have been there 5 days a week starting earlier this summer. So we've been constantly there working with the DOT. So there is an order to vacate, but what I would say, in most other communities, if there were going to be projects coming, other communities would simply just do eviction notices. It could be in the spring or the summer. Our DOT didn't do that. They were working hand in hand with our homeless outreach teams, and honestly, their major concern was, where are folks going to go? The safety of the residents at this encampment. There's huge safety issues. So they've been working hand in hand with us and our other outreach teams to make sure everybody has somewhere to go before they made a decision like this. So they should actually be commended that they're really concerned about the individuals that are there.
Okay, and one thing I definitely wanted to clarify as we move forward with this conversation, I said that it's referred to as Tent City, but that's not something that you really would like to refer to this encampment as.
It isn't, and I'm glad you brought that up, so thank you for that. So a lot of this is about dignity. So whether it's an encampment this year or what happened in years past, it's all about human dignity, and we just believe that housing is a human right, and everybody should be indoors and preferably in permanent housing. So to refer to that as Tent City is not something that the folks we serve like to hear, and again, our goal is always permanent housing indoors.
Yeah, and I just think that it's important to relay that over to our viewers so when they refer to it that they are aware.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that area that we're speaking of, it's going to be turned into a green space for runoff water from the highway, right?
I believe that's the case.
So city leaders like Mayor Barrett, he has said that it's becoming a safety concern with people walking across the highway, which of course that is very dangerous. And needless to say, temperatures are going to soon make it difficult and very dangerous for people to be out in the elements. So this is a crucial time. And in Milwaukee, we know we don't have a lot of time before it gets extremely cold. So you have these tents. They were given out by organizations who really work hard to look out for individuals who have fallen on hard times. Those same organizations give out food and they also help with other resources. So these encampments are in different parts of the city. There's one across from the Milwaukee County Courthouse, and I think that because of the tents, it has made the situation a little more visible than maybe what people have seen in the past.
Yes, that's exactly the case. So the tent encampments are fairly new to Milwaukee. I would say about 2 to 3 years ago is when we first started noticing that. Again, folks are giving out tents and doing more homeless outreach for supplies and food and things like that. That's not something that had happened in the past. So it is certainly new. We did a huge push last fall. There was about 89 individuals at 2 different encampments, one at 6th and Clybourne and one by the courthouse. So we're able to permanently house actually all 89 of those individuals.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we have, I think, our community has a really good track record on how to solve this, and the individuals at this encampment are brand new to us. A lot of newly homeless folks, some not even from our area. So everyone we housed last year is still in permanent housing. They didn't return to the encampment. So these are new individuals we're seeing this year.
That is awesome. So you've got Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers. He's also weighed in, and he has said the state will play a role in finding permanent housing for those citizens. So how have these discussions been going with the whole process of getting it done?
Yeah, it's going really well, and we work with other communities too to incorporate some of the things we do here in Milwaukee around homelessness. We have actually seen a large reduction in homelessness. The tents, unfortunately, the public doesn't realize that because it is so visible. So we have seen a 45% reduction in homelessness since 2015 here in Milwaukee. So we've been in other communities talking about this. So it is certainly a pretty public issue.
Yeah, and I'm guessing the natural question for people who have not been up to date with the statistics like you and your team, they're saying, why now? But you've been doing this all along, right?
Yeah, we've been doing it all along, and one of the things that's unique about our partnership, we have tons of different partners. I know you're going to be speaking with United Way, who's a huge partner of ours. But even from a governmental perspective, you mentioned the state, so the city of Milwaukee, Milwaukee County, the state of Wisconsin, are all coming at this and being on the same page, and that's also unique around the country to see multiple levels of government all working together on this. So I think that's certainly unique and positive and something we can build on moving forward.
Yeah, and something else is very obvious, of course. The DNC is going to be coming to the city next summer.
Sure.
And a lot of people are saying, oh, you want to clean it up because all these people from around the globe are coming.
Sure.
But as I just mentioned, this is something you've been working on for a couple of years now. So it's important to clarify that this is not something that just happened overnight.
That's right. I appreciate that question because that has come up a lot lately. So again, we did this exact same amount of work last year. It was about the same amount of individuals.
You were here last year talking about it.
We were here last year talking about it. And it was almost the same number of individuals. Last year we had 2 encampments, and now it's 1, but it's a little larger. This is the work we do every day. We started our Housing First initiative in 2015. We're one of the only governments in the country that actually do our own homeless outreach. So this is something we've been doing for about 4 years now. So this is nothing new to us. The DNC has come up a lot lately, but it certainly has nothing to do with the work we do. And again, we were at that same encampment last year doing our work, and we'll continue to do so.
Yeah, it's important to point out the county is working on finalizing 3 temporary locations with the help of many organizations. You mentioned the United Way.
Yes.
Who are some of the others you're working with?
So Guest House is going to be providing a lot of staffing at those locations. We're not going to publicly discuss where they are because of privacy concerns for our clients. But we have a lot of different donors, a lot of businesses. There'll be something coming out soon from some of the businesses. I won't steal their thunder, but that will be out there as well. We have a lot of folks stepping up to help us. And I think the exciting thing through our Housing First initiative and all the data and success we've all had, we have the blueprint on how to do this. United Way is talking about ending family homelessness. That's actually real. We can do that. We have businesses, we have philanthropic groups, multiple levels of government, all finally agreeing that we know what the solution is, and now it's just putting all these pieces together. So it's pretty exciting, I think, what this community could do moving forward.
Yeah, and that's awesome, like you said, to have so many people be on the same page and say together we can truly make a difference.
Absolutely.
So I do want everyone to kind of stick around so they can hear about the great things the United Way is doing to help out with this initiative. Sure. Historically, people talk about sobriety, mental health treatment, and drug addiction before they're able to place people into permanent housing or even temporary housing for that matter. But your goal is to get people housed as soon as possible. That's
right. So it's called Housing First. It's our Housing First initiative. And again, the goal is to provide folks permanent housing with no restrictions as fast as possible. So if we can take folks living on the street, put them right into their own apartment as quickly as possible, and then wrap voluntary services around them. And that's the important part of this, is all the services are voluntary. We found through our data and our success that if we meet people where they're at, we give them as much self-determination as possible, the more successful they are. So we have about a 96% housing retention rate, which is very, very high for folks maintaining housing. But we feel it's because they have choice. They have choice in the neighborhoods they go. They have choice in the services that they have. So years ago, before we started all this, a lot of it was contingent upon sobriety and are you actively engaged in your mental health treatment. But just like everybody else, your home is your foundation. And unless you have that home and that foundation, you can't focus on work. You
That's
can't
right.
focus on all these different things. You can't focus on the well-being of your family if you don't have a roof over your head.
Yeah, it's that first step to the
It
journey
is.
of what's next. That's
It
absolutely
is,
true.
and when we talk about community engagement and public-private partnerships, housing is the only solution to homelessness. So we talk about that to anybody that will listen to us. And thinking about when we're thinking about helping the homeless and building these new partnerships, that has to be the lens that we look at, is the permanent solution to homelessness, and that's housing.
That's right. Permanent is the key word. And if there's someone who's watching and they want to kind of have a better understanding of the procedures that they would need to follow in order to obtain housing, what would they need to do?
Sure. So most individuals are starting to go through the 211 process. So individuals that are homeless or family members or folks that are listening can go through the 211 process.
So just dial 211.
Just dial 211, and they can get folks connected to homeless services. For individuals that might not have access to the phone or are sleeping outside or in a tent, we're actively going out in the community and doing our own outreach, so we don't just wait for people to call 211. Our goal is to get to folks as fast as possible, especially during the winter time. We'll be out with every local police department, health department, actively looking for folks before they even call 211.
All right. Earlier this month, County Executive Chris Abley and the Department of Health and Human Services, they announced a $250,000 investment in the 2020 county budget. That would be building on the success of your Housing First initiative, right?
Yes, very, very excited about that. So when we started Housing First, the idea was to end chronic homelessness. So we're becoming the largest county in the nation to be able to accomplish that. So, and what I always say is that's not an end to anything, it's the start of something. So what we really have to do in our community is get more proactive and talk about prevention. So this is our first big push into prevention. So moving forward, especially for families, and I know United Way is making their big push to end family homelessness, so we'll be partnering with them on this, and this will be kind of one of the first pilots. The idea that families and individuals, instead of having to come to shelter to get services, we can go to them instantly when they call 211.
Okay.
So that's hopefully what this is going to look like, and it won't be just a housing intervention. It'll be looking at social determinants of health and the root cause of homelessness and mental health and school truancy or whatever families need. A lot of times they're thinking they need to access shelter to get those kind of conversations started. We want to be able to, before they come to shelter, serve their needs for exactly where they're calling from.
Okay. So if someone at home is watching and they'd like to help make a difference, there is something they can do, right?
There is. So we do direct folks to housingfirstmilwaukee.com. Folks can just get educated on homelessness, learn more about our Housing First initiative, but they can also donate either to our Housing First endowment or to move-in kits. One of the things we struggle with, we can find housing for individuals, but folks need security deposits and beds and dressers and all kinds of different things that anybody would need to go into their first apartment. So we're in desperate need of those types of supplies, so folks can go to housingfirstmilwaukee.com and learn more about that.
housingfirstmilwaukee.com.
Correct.
And everyday essentials that you use and we take for granted, you can use all of those things to help make a
Absolutely.
difference. Thank you so much for coming by,
Thank you
James.
very much.
Very important conversation. Appreciate all that you're doing.
Great, thank you.
James Mathy is the housing administrator for the Milwaukee County Housing Division. For more information on their programs and services, go to housingfirstmilwaukee.com. When we return to Our Issues Milwaukee, we'll spotlight special programming provided by the United Way of Greater Milwaukee and Waukesha County. We'll talk to their VP of Community Impact about an initiative that's goal is to end family homelessness by 2025. We'll discuss that and a whole lot more right after this.